disappear. No tears for black girls, like they were never here. But we remember, we'll speak their names.
In the unforgiving streets of Detroit, loyalty isn't just a virtue, it's a matter of life and death. But sometimes, that same loyalty becomes entangled with secrets so dark, so scandalous, that they threaten to destroy everything you've built. This is the story of Jobina J.B. Brown, a woman whose relationship with her nephew would become the subject of whispers, rumors, and ultimately, a murder that would expose the most salacious secrets in hip-hop. What started as a story about family loyalty has become something much darker, a tale of forbidden relationships, pregnancy rumors, and the deadly consequences of keeping secrets in the streets. Terry Sanchez Wallace Jr., better known to the world as Tee Grizzley, wasn't supposed to make it out of Detroit's East Side. Born into a world where poverty and violence were daily realities, he watched his mother get sentenced to 15 years in prison on drug charges when he was just 20. A year later, his father was murdered. By 2014, T himself was behind bars, serving 18 months for robbery charges that could have derailed his life permanently. But through all the chaos, one person never wavered in her belief in him. Jobina J.B. Brown, the woman he called his aunt. Here's where the story gets complicated, and where the whispers began. J.B. wasn't T's blood relative. She was his aunt through marriage, married to his uncle by blood. But their relationship would become something that defied traditional family boundaries, something that would fuel rumors, gossip, and ultimately contribute to a murder that shocked the hip-hop world. J.B. wasn't just family. She was Terry's everything. When everyone else saw a young man destined for the streets or the grave, she saw potential. She saw talent. She saw a nephew who could rap his way out of the cycle that had claimed so many others. And when Terry decided to pursue music seriously, J.B. didn't just support him. She bet everything on him. The woman who would become known as one of hip-hop's most dedicated managers started out as simply an aunt who refused to give up. J.B. quit her steady job to manage Terry's career full-time. She used her own money to fund his first music video for First Day Out, the track that would change everything. She handled his business, protected his interests, and became the buffer between him and a music industry that could be just as dangerous as the streets. But their relationship was deeper than business, more complex than family, and according to street rumors, more intimate than anyone wanted to admit publicly. J.B. was particular about cleanliness, always impeccably dressed, and carried herself with a dignity that commanded respect in rooms full of men who weren't used to taking orders from women. She was tough enough to navigate street politics, but loving enough to be the maternal figure Terry needed after losing his mother to the system. But she was also a woman in her early 40s, and Terry was a young man in his 20s, and the lines between family, business, and something else entirely began to blur in ways that would later fuel the most scandalous rumors in Detroit's hip-hop scene. When First Day Out exploded, gaining over 2 million views in just 3 weeks and catching the attention of Jay-Z and LeBron James, J.B. was right there orchestrating the moves that would land Terry a deal with 300 Entertainment and Atlantic Records. She wasn't just along for the ride, she was driving. But success in the rap game comes with scrutiny, and scrutiny reveals secrets that some people would kill to keep hidden. By 2019, Tee Grizzley had become one of Detroit's biggest success stories. His debut album, Activated, had reached number 10 on the Billboard 200. He was selling out shows, collaborating with major artists, and representing for a city that desperately needed positive representation. And through it all, J.B. was by his side, the woman who had believed when no one else would. But success in the rap game comes with a price, and that price is often paid by the people you love most. And sometimes, that price includes keeping secrets that could destroy everything you've built. August 20th, 2019 started like any other night, but it would end with a murder that would expose secrets that had been whispered about in Detroit's streets for years. T, JB, and their driver had just finished a late studio session and were heading to visit family on Detroit's east side. It was the kind of routine trip they'd made countless times before, nothing that should have raised any red flags or caused concern. They pulled up to a relative's house on 3 Mile Drive around 9 p.m. The neighborhood was familiar territory, the kind of place where T had grown up and where family still lived. But familiarity can breed complacency, and in the streets, complacency kills. When they arrived, T wanted everyone to go inside. He had that street sense that told him certain areas required certain precautions, and he urged JB to come into the house with him. But JB, ever particular about cleanliness, took one look at the house and declined. She was funny about dirty spaces, always had been, and she preferred to wait in the car rather than go into what she perceived as an unclean environment. T begged her to come inside. Something in his gut told him it wasn't safe to leave her in the car, but JB was stubborn. She'd wait outside, she insisted. She'd be fine. It was a decision that would haunt T for the rest of his life, and one that would fuel conspiracy theories about whether he knew what was coming. As T walked toward the house, a shadow emerged from the darkness. The shooter moved with purpose, approaching the black Chrysler 300, where JB sat in the back seat. In a moment that would change everything, the gunman opened the passenger side door, the side where T usually sat, and opened fire. 8 bullets tore through JB's body as she sat defenseless in the back seat. The driver was grazed but survived. T, just steps away from the car, heard the gunshots and came running, but by the time he reached the vehicle, the shooter had vanished into the night like a ghost. JB was still alive when the ambulance arrived. She even managed to call T from the ambulance, her voice growing weaker with each word. He knew, even as he listened to her fading voice, that he was losing the most important person in his world. At the hospital, doctors fought to save her life, but the damage was too severe. Jobina J.B. Brown, the woman who had sacrificed everything for her nephew's dreams, was pronounced dead from multiple gunshot wounds. But according to rumors that would surface years later, JB wasn't just carrying T's dreams when she died. She was allegedly carrying his child. The pregnancy rumors began almost immediately after JB's death, whispered in barbershops, discussed in private messages, and debated on social media. The streets started talking, and what they were saying was explosive. JB had been pregnant when she was murdered, and the father was allegedly Tee Grizzley himself. The allegations were as scandalous as they were disturbing. Here was a woman who was supposed to be his aunt, his manager, his protector, and the streets were claiming she was also his lover and the mother of his unborn child. The rumors painted a picture of a relationship that had crossed every possible boundary: family, professional, and moral. Some claim that JB's pregnancy was the real motive for her murder. Had someone discovered the secret relationship and decided to eliminate the evidence? Was JB killed not because of T's street beefs, but because of the scandal that would have erupted if their alleged relationship became public? Others suggested that T himself had orchestrated JB's murder to cover up the pregnancy and protect his career. The theory went that he couldn't afford the scandal of having gotten his aunt pregnant, so he arranged for her to be killed and made it look like a street hit gone wrong. These weren't just random internet conspiracy theories. They were persistent rumors that circulated in Detroit's hip-hop community for years, gaining credibility with each retelling. The fact that JB was shot while T was conveniently inside the house only fueled the speculation. Why had he insisted she come inside? Why had he left her alone in the car? And why had the shooter opened the passenger door where T usually sat, as if they knew his habits intimately? The news of JB's death sent shockwaves through Detroit and the hip-hop community, but the rumors that followed created an entirely different kind of scandal. Fans mourned. Fellow artists paid tribute. But behind closed doors, people were whispering about pregnancy tests, secret relationships, and cover-ups that went to the highest levels of the music industry. For Tee Grizzley, the world had just collapsed in more ways than one. Not only had he lost the woman who had been his rock, his protector, his biggest believer, but he was now facing allegations that would destroy his reputation if they were true. The circumstances of her death raised questions that would haunt him for years to come. But the rumors about their relationship raised questions that could end his career. The Detroit Police Department immediately launched a homicide investigation, but answers were slow to come. The shooting wasn't random, they said, but beyond that, details were scarce. No arrests were made in the immediate aftermath. No suspects were named. The case went cold, leaving a family devastated, a community demanding justice, and rumors swirling about secrets that some people would kill to protect. But the streets talk, even when the police stay silent. And the rumors that began circulating in the wake of JB's murder painted a picture that was far more complex and scandalous than anyone initially realized. This wasn't just about cross-city beef or industry politics. This was about forbidden love, unwanted pregnancies, and the kind of family secrets that destroy lives. Some whispered that it was a robbery gone wrong, but that theory didn't hold water. Nothing was taken from the car, and JB wasn't known to carry large amounts of cash or jewelry. Others suggested it was connected to old street business, grudges that predated Tee's music career but had followed him into his new life. But the most persistent and disturbing rumors centered on the pregnancy allegations. If JB had been carrying Tee's child, who else knew? Who had discovered their secret? And who would have been willing to kill to keep it from becoming public? The answer to those questions would remain a mystery for years, buried in the complex web of relationships, rivalries, and family secrets that define not just the rap industry, but the most intimate aspects of human relationships. Tee himself was consumed by survivor's guilt, telling interviewers that it should have been him, that his lifestyle had put JB in danger. But he never addressed the pregnancy rumors directly, never confirmed or denied the allegations that continued to swirl around their relationship. Family members, raw with grief, sometimes blamed him for bringing violence into their lives. But were they also blaming him for something else? Did they know about the alleged pregnancy? Did they suspect that JB's death was connected to secrets that went far beyond street politics? The pain was compounded by the lack of closure. With no arrests, no trials, no justice, the wound remained open, festering. Tee channeled his grief into music, releasing the emotional track Satish as a tribute to JB. But no amount of artistic expression could silence the rumors or fill the void she'd left behind. For years, the case remained cold, but the rumors remained hot. Crime Stoppers offered a $2,500 reward for information leading to an arrest, but tips were scarce and leads went nowhere. JB's murder became another unsolved case in a city that had seen too many. Another Black woman whose death didn't generate the media attention or police resources it deserved. But the pregnancy allegations never went away. They lived on social media, in barbershop conversations, and in the whispered gossip of the hip-hop community. Every time Tee released new music, every time he appeared in public, the rumors followed him like a shadow. The allegations were particularly damaging because they played into the worst stereotypes about hip-hop culture and Black families. Here was a successful rapper who had supposedly gotten his own aunt pregnant and then had her killed to cover it up. It was the kind of story that fed into racist narratives about Black men, Black families, and the moral corruption of hip-hop culture. But in July 2025, nearly 6 years after JB's murder, a shocking development would finally break the case wide open and reveal connections that no one saw coming, while also reigniting the pregnancy rumors with new intensity. The arrest of a Chicago gang member known as Wu-Thang, an affiliate of the notorious 600 Gang and OTF Only the Family Collective, sent shockwaves through both Detroit and Chicago's hip-hop communities. Wu-Thang, whose real name has been withheld pending trial, was charged in connection with JB's murder after ballistics evidence allegedly linked him to the Detroit shooting. But the most stunning revelation wasn't just that a Chicago gang member had been arrested. It was the web of connections that tied him to people in Tee Grizzley's own circle, and the way his arrest reignited all the old rumors about JB's pregnancy and the real motive for her murder. Wu-Thang was from the same neighborhood as Buka 600, a prominent member of Lil Durk's OTF collective. And Buka 600 wasn't just any Chicago rapper. He was one of Tee Grizzley's close friends and frequent collaborators. The two had worked together on multiple tracks, including Game Face from OTF's Loyal Bros compilation. They'd been photographed together, performed together, and by all appearances maintained a genuine friendship. The implications were staggering, and the rumors exploded across social media with renewed intensity. Had someone from within T's extended circle orchestrated JB's murder? Was this a case of betrayal from within, the kind of backdoor setup that the streets fear most? Or was it simply a tragic coincidence that the alleged shooter happened to be connected to people in T's orbit? But more importantly, did Wu-Thang's arrest confirm what the streets had been whispering for years? Had JB been killed not because of random street violence, but because someone wanted to silence her permanently? And if she had been pregnant, who else knew? And who had the most to lose if that information became public? The arrest opened up a Pandora's box of speculation and conspiracy theories that went far beyond typical hip-hop beef. Social media exploded with theories about industry politics, cross-city beefs, and the complex relationships between Chicago and Detroit's rap scenes. But underneath all the speculation about gang affiliations and street politics, the pregnancy rumors continued to simmer. Some pointed to the long-standing tensions between different factions within the hip-hop community, suggesting that JB's murder was collateral damage in a larger war. Others focused on the personal relationships involved, questioning how well T really knew the people he was working with, and whether his friendship with Buka 600 had somehow put him and his family in danger. But the most persistent theories continued to center on the pregnancy allegations. If JB had been carrying T's child, the theory went, then her murder wasn't about street politics at all. It was about covering up a scandal that could have destroyed his career and reputation. The fact that the shooter had opened the passenger door where T usually sat suggested someone who knew his habits intimately, someone who might have been close enough to know about the alleged pregnancy. The timing of the arrest also raised questions that fed into the conspiracy theories. Why had it taken nearly 6 years to make an arrest? What new evidence had emerged to finally break the case? And why was a Chicago gang member allegedly involved in a Detroit murder that might have been motivated by family secrets rather than street beef? According to reports, the breakthrough came through NIBIN testing, the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network that tracks firearms used in crimes across different jurisdictions. The same gun allegedly used to kill JB had reportedly been connected to other crimes, creating a trail that eventually led investigators to Wu-Thang. But ballistics evidence, while compelling, doesn't answer the question of motive. Why would a Chicago gang member want to kill Tee Grizzley's aunt and manager? What was the connection between the 600 gang and a Detroit rapper's family? And most importantly, did the motive have anything to do with the pregnancy rumors that had haunted T for years? The answers to those questions may emerge during the trial, but they've already sparked intense debate within hip-hop communities and reignited all the old rumors about JB's alleged pregnancy. Some see JB's murder as part of a larger pattern of violence that follows successful rappers, a reminder that fame and fortune don't provide protection from street politics. Others view it as evidence of how interconnected the rap industry has become, with beefs and alliances spanning multiple cities and creating dangerous situations for everyone involved. But a growing number of people believe that JB's murder was never about street politics at all, that it was about silencing a woman who knew too much, carried too much, and represented a scandal that could have destroyed everything Tee Grizzley had built. The pregnancy rumors have taken on new life since Wu Thang's arrest, with social media detectives dissecting every aspect of Tee and JB's relationship. Old photos are being re-examined for signs of intimacy beyond what would be appropriate for an aunt and nephew. Interview clips are being analyzed for hints about the true nature of their relationship. And every public statement Tee has made about JB since her death is being scrutinized for hidden meanings. What makes these rumors particularly explosive is how they reframe everything we thought we knew about JB's murder. If she was pregnant with Tee's child, then her death wasn't just a tragedy, it was potentially a double homicide. The unborn child becomes another victim, another life lost to whatever forces conspired to silence JB permanently. The rumors also raise disturbing questions about power dynamics and exploitation. JB was older than Tee, but she was also financially dependent on him and his career. If their relationship had become intimate, who was really in control? Was JB a willing participant in a forbidden romance, or was she a victim of manipulation by someone whose success she had helped create? These questions become even more complex when you consider the family dynamics involved. JB was married to Tee's blood uncle, making any romantic relationship with Tee not just inappropriate, but potentially devastating to the entire family structure. If the pregnancy rumors are true, then JB's murder might have been as much about protecting family honor as it was about protecting Tee's career. The street rumors suggest that multiple people knew about the alleged pregnancy, including family members who were horrified by the implications. Some versions of the story claim that JB was planning to go public with the pregnancy, either to force Tee to acknowledge their relationship or to secure financial support for the child. Others suggest that she was being pressured by family members to terminate the pregnancy to avoid scandal. What makes JB's story particularly tragic is how it fits into a broader pattern of Black women being silenced, whether through violence or through the systematic dismissal of their voices and experiences. If the pregnancy rumors are true, then JB was carrying not just a child, but a secret that powerful people were willing to kill to protect. She became expendable the moment her existence threatened someone else's success. This pattern repeats itself throughout hip-hop history, but it extends far beyond the music industry. From the mothers and girlfriends caught in crossfire to the managers and assistants who become targets simply because of their association with successful men, Black women consistently bear the cost of conflicts they didn't create and secrets they didn't choose to keep. JB's murder also highlights the unique vulnerabilities faced by women who work closely with male artists, particularly in industries where personal and professional relationships often become entangled. Success doesn't erase the power imbalances that make women vulnerable to exploitation, and if anything, it can make those imbalances more dangerous. The fact that JB was killed while simply waiting in a car outside a family member's house underscores how random and senseless this violence can appear on the surface. But if the pregnancy rumors are true, then her murder wasn't random at all. It was a calculated elimination of a woman who had become inconvenient, dangerous, or both. As the case moves toward trial, many questions remain unanswered, and the pregnancy rumors continue to swirl. What was Wu Thang's motive for allegedly killing JB? Was he acting alone or as part of a larger conspiracy? How did the Chicago-Detroit connection play into the murder? And most importantly, was JB pregnant when she died? And if so, who was the father? The trial will likely reveal more details about the night JB was killed and the events that led up to her murder. But regardless of what comes out in court, the pregnancy rumors have already changed how people view her death and Tee Grizzley's role in the tragedy. If JB was pregnant, then her murder represents not just the loss of a talented manager and beloved family member, but the silencing of a woman whose only crime may have been loving someone who couldn't afford to love her back publicly. It represents the deadly intersection of family secrets, industry politics, and the violence that follows when powerful people feel threatened. Tee Grizzley has continued to build his career in the years since JB's death, but those who know him say he's never been the same. The guilt of surviving when she didn't, the knowledge that his lifestyle may have contributed to her death, and the persistent rumors about their relationship have left permanent scars that no amount of success can heal. In interviews, he's spoken about how JB's death changed his perspective on life and success, but he's never directly addressed the pregnancy rumors or the allegations about the nature of their relationship. His silence on these matters has only fueled more speculation, with some interpreting it as guilt and others seeing it as the appropriate response to baseless rumors. The woman who had sacrificed everything for his dreams was gone, and no amount of fame or fortune could bring her back. Her death forced him to confront not just the reality that the streets don't care about your success, but also the possibility that his personal choices may have put the person he loved most in mortal danger. The arrest of Wu Thang has brought renewed attention to JB's case, but it's also highlighted the complex web of relationships, rivalries, and secrets that define modern hip-hop. The genre that was born in urban communities as a form of expression and escape has become increasingly entangled with the very violence and exploitation it often seeks to document and transcend. For the hip-hop community, JB's murder serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of mixing business with pleasure, family with romance, and success with secrecy. The rumors surrounding her death remind us that behind every successful artist are often women whose sacrifices go unrecognized and whose vulnerabilities are exploited by the very people they're trying to help. The case also raises broader questions about violence against women in urban communities and the cycle of silence that protects perpetrators while silencing victims. How many more women will die because they knew too much, loved too much, or carried secrets that powerful people couldn't afford to have revealed? As we await the outcome of Wu Thang's trial, JB's story remains a powerful reminder of the human cost of success, secrecy, and the violence that erupts when personal relationships become entangled with professional ambitions. Whether the pregnancy rumors are true or not, they've become part of her legacy, a reminder that even in death, Black women's bodies and experiences remain sites of speculation, exploitation, and control. The streets of Detroit remember Jobina J.B. Brown, not just as Tee Grizzley's aunt and manager, but as a woman whose death exposed the darkest secrets of hip-hop success. She stood by her nephew when no one else would, invested in his dreams when they seemed impossible, and may have paid the ultimate price for a love that crossed boundaries no one was prepared to acknowledge. Whether justice will finally be served remains to be seen. But JB's legacy lives on in the music she helped create, the career she helped build, and the uncomfortable questions her death continues to raise about power, exploitation, and the price that women pay for men's success. The trial of Wu Thang will likely provide more answers about who killed JB and why. But for those who loved her, no verdict can bring back the woman who gave everything for someone else's dreams, or answer the questions about what she might have been carrying when she died. All that remains is the music, the memories, the rumors, and the hope that her death wasn't in vain, that somehow her story will help prevent other women from being silenced, exploited, or killed for the secrets they carry or the love they give. In the end, JB's murder represents more than just another unsolved case or another victim of street violence. It's a reminder that behind every headline, every arrest, every trial, there are real people whose lives have been forever changed by violence that may have been motivated by the most intimate betrayals. And it's a tribute to a woman who loved without limits, believed without reservation, and may have paid the ultimate price for crossing boundaries that society wasn't ready to accept. Jobina J.B. Brown deserved better than the violence that took her life. Better than the rumors that followed her death, and better than being remembered primarily for the scandal that may or may not have surrounded her final days. She deserved to see her nephew's continued success, to enjoy the fruits of the sacrifices she made, and to grow old surrounded by the family she loved so much. Instead, she became another casualty in a war between love and ambition, another Black woman whose death serves as a stark reminder of how dangerous it can be to love powerful men who can't afford to love you back. Her story isn't over, though. As long as people remember her sacrifice, her love, and her unwavering belief in the power of dreams, JB's legacy will continue to inspire others to support the people they love, even when the cost seems too high to bear. And as long as the pregnancy rumors persist, her death will continue to raise uncomfortable questions about the price that women pay for men's secrets and the violence that erupts when love becomes inconvenient. Jobina J.B. Brown was more than a victim of violence. She was a testament to the transformative power of unconditional love and the tragic reality that sometimes the people who love us most pay the highest price for our success, our secrets, and our inability to protect them from the consequences of our choices. Stay loved, stay blessed, and stay safe. Thanks for tuning in to No Tears for Black Girls. This is Samantha Paul. Up next, it's Mirror Who I Am by the Crown and Soul Collective, featured on the official soundtrack for the novel The Price of Silence by J.C. Reedberg. The book is available now on Amazon, and you can download it for free on Kindle. Don't miss it.
I see her in the mirror, cracks along the frame, lines on her face, everyone has a name. Hands on the sink, bracing for the truth. Every scar, every secret, every piece of you.
She's more than the silence, more than the pain, more than the shadows that whisper her name. She's the girl who survived, the woman who stands, thousand reflections all in her hand.
Mirror, mirror, show me who I am. Not just the pieces, but the whole of this plan. I see the girl who sees everything. I see the woman who's learning to see.
Check it. Reflections don't lie, but they don't tell it all. You see the surface, but you don't see the fall. Built up my armor, brick by brick, but the mirror caught the cracks I tried to fix. Every secret, every story, every bruise I hide, still staring back at me. Can't run from what's inside. Oh, she's more than the silence, more than the pain, more than the shadows that whisper her name. She's the girl who survived, the woman who stands, a thousand reflections all in her hand.
Mirror, mirror, show me who I am. Not just the pieces, but the whole of this plan. I see the girl who sees everything. I see the woman who's learning to see. Sometimes the only shelter is the truth in your eye.
Mirror don't lie, but it don't show the fight.
Sometimes the only answer is the courage to rise.
Every day's a battle, every night's a try.
She wipes the glass clean, lets the past fall away.
Still here, still standing, still finding my way.
Final mirror, mirror, show me who I am. Not just the pieces, but the whole of this plan. I see the girl who sees everything. I see the woman who's learning to see. Tonight, at last, letting hope begin.